In the 15th century BC, on the banks of the Tungabhadra river in central Karnataka, the patrons of Vijayanagara Empire solicited the services of the best stone carvers of the time. The city of Vijayanagara was originally encompassed by 7 lines of fortifications, which had many bastions and gateways. The seventh and the innermost fortification enclosed the main city and is the best preserved. The extant monuments of Vijayanagara or Hampi can be divided into religious, civil, and military buildings. The Jain temples on Hemakutta Hill, the 2 Devi shrines, and some other structures in the Virupaksha temple complex predate the Vijayanagara Empire. The earliest amongst them, the Shiva shrines with their stepped pyramidal vimanas or superstructures, date to the early Chalukyan period around 9th-10th century AD. Hampi was one of the best areas of the capital of the Vijayanagara Empire from 1343 to 1565, when it was besieged by the Deccan Muslim Confederacy. Hampi was chosen because of its strategic location, bounded by the torrential Tungabhadra river on one side and surrounded by defensible hills on the other 3 sides. A place like Hampi had become a unique opportunity for sculpture since the place was entirely surrounded by large stones. It was as if a painter was surrounded by his canvas. Geologically, Hampi has one of the oldest rock mass on earth, and this is evident in the rock formations. These stone carvers, who had dedicated their life to molding stone to their will and were allowed to be disinhibited and use their to their liberty to carve out their heart's content. The empires of India had no practice of the written language to document their history. They would give more importance to the arts and philosophy of the time, which was passed on from master to pupil in a series of memorized words and poetry. Yet the temples that have been left behind by them marks the landscape saying, "We were here." It is difficult to imagine what life was like to the people of the time, since the only evidence of their existence remains in the places that were in stone. The rest were all built in wood or some other means. The people of Hampi, who lacked a particular lingua franca, must have depended on the pictograms of the temple walls to understand mythology. The pillars within the temples were all covered with motifs and reliefs to show the value of their time. Just as the painters of Italy or the philosophers of Greece were celebrated at their time, it is highly likely that some of the stone carvers at Hampi were well known for their skills in the art of stone. One must have a total anatomy over the material if one has to be able to execute such marvels that stood for 500 years and will do so far beyond. The highlight about the Vittala temple is the stone chariot. It is almost considered as an iconic structure of Hampi. It also has musical pillars that are as iconic as the stone chariot. Each pillar of this temple depicts a musical instrument and also serves as the main support to the whole structure. This has been arranged around the main pillar of the temple, which when struck gives out the 7 notes from each of the instruments that it represents. The British found this pretty suspicious and went on to cut open the pillar to find out if there was anything hidden that produces the sound. However, on cutting it open, they found nothing, and it is considered as a miracle. The cut was made by the British can still be seen. This temple is also a venue to the most famous temple festival, Purandara Dasa, that is held here annually. Temple pillars often have engravings of charging horses or hippogriffs. Horses standing on hind legs with their forelegs lifted and the riders on their backs. The horses on some pillars stand 7 to 8 feet tall. On the other side of the pillar are usually carvings from Hindu mythology. Pillars that do not have such hippogriffs are generally rectangular with mythology-themed decoration on all sides. Some pillars have a cluster of smaller pillars around a central pillar shaft. The bottom supports of these pillars have engravings of gods and goddesses. Carvings of hippogriffs clearly shows the draughtiness of the artists who created them.